विक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशुनार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशुनार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशुनार भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशुनार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिशुनार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्याल्प विष्णु महाभागवत श्री गौर किशोरदास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्याल्प विश्व वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नामचय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल कोरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुर वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंग देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाय की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। जय श्री चतुर्मास्य व्रत की जय। व्रत पालन करी भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य शिक्षाष्टक की जय। श्री सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि की जय। श्रील भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। His book Golden Volcano of Divine Love की जय। जय श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि गौर। अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्री सिद्धांत सरस्वती त्रिविदितो कोडीय गौरवान्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने योगोर संकीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलो दरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवानिमान् कृष्ण प्रेम सुधाब्दिकाहन सुखाम् प्रादात् प्रभुं तं भजे। वन्दे भक्ति विनोदं श्री गौरशक्ति स्वरूपकं भक्तिशास्त्रज्ञ सम्राजं राधारस सुधानिधिम्। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानन्दनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टां स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वृषभानुसुतान्वितवामतनु यमुनातटनागरनन्दसुतं मुरलीकलगीतविनोदपरं भज गोद्रुमकाननकुञ्जविदुम्। Smara Gaura Gadadhara Kelikalam Bhava Gaura Gadadhara Pakshachara Shrinu Gaura Gadadhara Charu Kathang Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunjavidam Tavai Vasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vina Iti Vigyaya Devi Tvam Nayamang Charanantikam Bhaktya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Kshiptascha Kama Ditaranga Madhye Kripa Mai Tvam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Swaruparaya Sangha Harsha Shesha Ghoshana Shikshanashtakakya Krishna Kirtanaika Poshanam Prema Nama Matra Vishwa Jivanaika Sambharam Prema Dhama Devam Eva Naumi Gaura Sundaram प्रेमोर्भावितहर्षैर्योद्वेगतन्यर्तिमिश्रितम् लपितङ्गुरचन्द्रस्य भाग्यवद्भिर्निषेव्यते प्रभुर्शिक्षाष्टकश्लोक जयपौरे शुने कृष्णे प्रेम भक्तितार बारे दिने दिने Okay, we'll recite these two verses at the end. So, all right, Dandavat pranams. Mri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Champak Mataji. Don't know who's on YouTube and Facebook. One second, let me just check. Hari Bol, Krishna Mai Didi, and Ganga Mataji, and I'm guessing Raseshwari Mataji, Indira Mataji, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, and anybody else. And also pranams to all devotees watching in the future. Hare Krishna, like Shachi Devi, Jai Devi Prabhu, Revati Didi, Hari Bol. All right, so now after a bit of a break, we are resuming our reading of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka, different commentaries by our acharyas. We actually completed the first verse right before Chaturmasya, but since during this Chaturmasya we're focusing on Śikṣāṣṭakam, I wanted to have one last reading of a commentary of the first verse. I decided to read Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja's commentary. I don't remember it so well because I have such a bad memory, but I just remember it was really amazing. And so I wanted to reread it one last time. And then I guess tomorrow we'll move on to verse number 2, if we finish the commentary today. All right. So this is from the book Shri Guru and His Grace. Where is it? Yeah. This is sorry, did I say Shri Guru and His Grace? I'm a bit tired right now. It's from the Golden Volcano of Divine Love, part 2, Śikṣāṣṭakam, the precepts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the first part of the book, he goes through pastimes of Mahaprabhu, and now the precepts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The holy name of Krishna. Actually, nah, I'm not going to. Okay, so Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamaha Tavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitarana Vedyavadu Jivanam. Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita svadanam sar sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The holy name of Krishna cleanses the mirror of the heart. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, and it extinguishes the fire of misery in the forest of birth and death. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. As the evening lotus blooms in the moon's cooling rays, the heart begins to blossom in the nectar of the name. Vidyavadujivanam. And at last, the soul awakens to its real inner treasure, a life of love with Krishna. Anandam buddhivardhanam. Again and again, tasting nectar, the soul dives and surfaces in the ever-increasing ocean of ecstatic joy. Pratipadam purnamrita svadanam. Okay, I guess that was already covered in here also, always tasting nectar. Pratipadam purnamrita svadanam. Again and again, tasting nectar. Then, sarvatma snapanam. All phases of the self, of which we may conceive, are fully satisfied and purified, and at last conquered. Param vijayate is conquered by the all-auspicious influence of the holy name of Krishna. I hope the sound is okay. I don't have my microphone. I'm at my friend Chandrasekhar's place because I was staying at Nandakishore and Jayashree's place for a little while, but Jayashree just arrived back in the middle of the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning, she arrived back. And so now I'm at Chandra's place without my mic. So if it's not loud enough, I could try to hold up my laptop close to my mouth. All right, so illumination. Actually, it might be nice to also, as we go through the different excellent results of Shri Krishna Kirtan, we can compare it also to this chart here. So all the way up to Anartha Nivritti is Cheto Darpana Marjanam. And then it's at Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, that's Nishta. And then Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam is Ruchi, which totally makes sense. And then Asakti is Vidya Vadujivanam, that's when he starts to get some kind of, what does Śrīla Bhakti Thakur say? Nija Seda Deha Varo? No, that was with actually, yeah, Nija Seda Deha Varo. So that's when you embrace, you accept your Siddha Deha, but you're not yet qualified to fully, it's at this stage. Anandam Buddhivardhanam, that's the external symptoms of bhav. And then Pratipadam Purnamrita Svadanam, the internal symptoms of perfection, Vipralamba Prem. So Anandam Buddhivardhanam, and then Purnamrita, sorry, Pratipadam Purnamrita Svadanam. And then finally, Sarvatma Snapanam, that is Prem Bhajan, when everything is completely washed off. All your material body, you've attained Vastu Siddhi. There's no more connection with anything of this world anymore. That's Sarvatma Snapanam, Prem Bhajan. Okay, so we'll keep on referring to this all throughout. Okay. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Okay. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the pioneer of Sri Krishna Sankirtan. He said, I have come to inaugurate the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, and that name will reach every nook and corner of the universe. Prithivite ache jata nagaradigram sarvata prachar hoibe morna. What is the meaning of Sankirtan? Parambi Jayate Shri Krishna Sankirtana. What is Sankirtan? So the sang means samyak. Samyak means full. And kirtan means chanting. Together, these two words form the word Sankirtan, Samyak and Kirtan. So together it becomes Sankirtan, which generally means congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. But Samyak means full not only in quantity, but also in quality. Full quantity means extensive in number, congregational. Full quality means complete praise. Complete praise can only mean the glorification of Krishna and not any other gods. And I remember in Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Gosvāmī Mahārāja's translation that we read the other day, he mentioned that it also means free from any aparad. So Sankirtan means complete kirtan, a song in praise of the complete whole, the absolute truth. Anything else is only a partial representation, and therefore defective to a certain extent. Therefore, Krishna should be praised. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, Krishna should be praised. His glories should be chanted, for he is everything. He is the master, the dispenser of both good and bad, the absolute controller of everything. Everything is due to him. The fulfillment of all life is reached in him alone. That is so beautiful. Just as a horse may have reins to check his movements, but if let loose will run freely, praise which is unchecked by any mundane purpose will run straight towards the supreme cause, Krishna. Let's reread that. So powerful. Just as a horse may have reins to check his movements, but if let loose will run freely, praise which is unchecked by any mundane purpose will run straight towards the supreme cause, Krishna. The word Shri means Lakshmi Devi, Krishna's potency. This means that in Sankirtan, Krishna is worshipped along with his potency, for Krishna's potency is included within him. So that's why it says Shri Krishna Sankirtana. So in other words, Radha Krishna Sankirtan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Shri Krishna Sankirtan should thrive throughout the world. It should be victorious without any hindrance. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. It should be a spontaneous, unchecked, and natural flow. It should be exclusive, independent, and without reservation. And this praise of Krishna should be congregationally chanted. That vibration is beneficial for the whole world. Only by surrender and pure devotion can we take to Shri Krishna Sankirtan. So now first, cleansing the mirror of the mind, Cheto Darpana Marjana. What are the different stages through which we will pass while chanting the holy name of Krishna? The first stage is that it cleanses the mirror of the mind. If the mirror of the mental system is covered with dust, we cannot see things clearly, and scriptural advice cannot be properly reflected there. What are the different kinds of dusts covering the mirror of the mind? Our infinite, fleeting, and organized desires are considered dust. And our hearts and minds are covered with layers and layers of this dust. Therefore, we cannot see things properly. They cannot properly reflect in our minds because it is covered with the infinite, ordinary desires of this mundane world. Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. So the first effect of Shri Krishna Sankirtan is the cleansing of the minds. The Vedic social system of Varnashram Dharma has been formed for this purpose. If we discharge our social duties perfectly without any attraction for the consequences, we achieve purification of our consciousness. But the first installment of Nam Sankirtan gives us the end result of Varnashram Dharma. Purification of the heart and mind. Then we can understand Vedic advice properly. Yeah, and remember, when we were going through Bhajanahasya, Śrīla Bhakti Thakur, all the verses that he gave for Chaita Darpana Marjanam was going through how ineffective all these other processes like Ashtanga Yoga, Gyan, Karma, how Nishkam Karma even, how ineffective these processes are for cleansing the mirror of the heart or the mind. The whole purpose of Ashtanga Yoga is what is it? Chitta Vritti Nirodha. To still the minds, but that's like the very first thing that happens just from an abhas of Nam. Okay, so the next effect of chanting the holy name is that it extinguishes the fire of material existence and the forest of repeated birth and death. We are forced to come into creation and again die. The mundane wave catches the soul, which mingles with the vibration in different stages. That is stopped by the second effect of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, and we become liberated. So with the first stride, the intelligence is purified. With the second stride, the holy name effects liberation from the great conflagration of threefold miseries. The threefold miseries are adhyatmic, miseries within the body and mind, such as disease and mental anxiety; adhibhotic, miseries from our neighbors, man, beasts, insects, and so many other living beings; and adhidaivic, natural catastrophes like famine, flood, and earthquake. We have to suffer from these three kinds of miseries, which burn in our heart like fire. But everything is extinguished. It's extinguished forever by the second stride of Nam Sankirtan, which gives us relief. And remember, this is the stage of Nishta. The stage of Nishta is Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. And now we come to the stage of Ruchi, the supreme goal of life. So at the stage of Nishta, you're completely fixed and nothing is you're unwavering, you're determined, you have this firm belief and faith and you're acting on it, you're fixed. But there's nothing, but that's this Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, and you're liberated at this stage. But when does the positive thing come? Ruchi, when do you actually get a taste? So the next stage is Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. The holy name bestows upon us the supreme goal of life. After doing away with these two negative engagements, our positive engagement begins. Right? Chaito Darpana Marjanam and Bhava Mahadavagni Nirapanam are negative engagements. One is cleaning off all the dust of the heart, and the other is extinguishing the forest fire of material existence. So those are all negative. It's getting rid of things. But now the positive engagement begins with this Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. And it ultimately takes us to reality, to the real truth, which is eternal, auspicious, and beautiful. It takes us to that auspiciousness, which is above this world of difficulty. And in a general way, we achieve the supreme goal, the highest auspiciousness, the greatest good from chanting the holy name of Krishna. If we analyze this scrutinizingly, we find that in this stage, the holy name takes us to an intimate, personal relationship with Krishna, which includes neutrality, servitude, friendship, and filial affection, Shanta Dasya Sakya and Vatsalya Ras. And I just want to stop here 1 second. So Ruchi, the stage of Ruchi is Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. And the verse is Na Dhanam, Na Janam, Na Sundarim. So at this stage, you have so much taste. You're starting to get a taste. And so then automatically all these things, dhan, that's wealth, jan, followers, beautiful women, poetry, or any beautiful things like that. All these things become very, completely unattractive to you because you have taste for Krishna. It's ruchi. And it's at this stage, which, what does he say? Nam takes us to an intimate, personal relationship with Krishna at this stage, which includes neutrality, servitude, friendship, and filial affection, Shanta Dasa Sangha. So you're starting to get an indication of which mood you have towards Krishna, I guess. Right? Like do you have a taste for Sakya? Do you have a taste for Vatsalya? Still don't have any experience or knowledge of your Siddha Swarup, that comes at Asakti, but you're starting to get a feeling, you know. Shreya covers, okay, let's read this. Shreya covers the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, for it is by his grace that we may be allowed to worship Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. Nityayer Karuna Habe, Vraje Radha Krishna Pave. Wow. So Shreya covers the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, this auspiciousness, because it's by his grace that we may be allowed to worship Radha and Krishna Bhaj. The next stage is Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. The holy name prepares us for the wholesale surrender to Krishna that is found in conjugal love and Madhur Ras, where the devotees surrender themselves infinitely at the disposal of Krishna. So this is the stage of Asakti, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam. At this stage, Vidya Vadhu Jivanam, you're getting some knowledge. It's the life of knowledge. Now you're getting realization of who really am I? This is Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram. And in the song by Śrīla Bhakti Thakur that we are going through every day throughout these next 2 weeks. Let's see, one second. It's on my website, ryandevotion.com. This post right here. We'll be going through this at the end of the program, but I just want to look at it now. So where is it? Oops, I went too far. So Pancham Shlokete. What does it say? So through the first 4 verses, gradually bring your bhajan to maturity. In the 5th verse, take shelter of your own perfected spiritual body. Pancham Shlokete, Nija Siddha Deha Varo. Varo means accept it, embrace it, take shelter of it. Take shelter of your Nija, your own Siddha Deha. And with this fifth verse, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Patitamam Vishame Bhavam Buddho. So with this 5th verse, by beginning to take shelter of Radha's feet and one's Siddha Deha, spiritual advancement gradually awakens. Aishloke. So at the stage of Asakti, with this 5th verse, you begin to take shelter of Radha's feet, Radha Padashray, in your Siddha Deha, and then Aramba Koriya Krame, and then the Unnati, this advancement now gradually awakens. Udoy means awakens. Krame, gradually. Aramba begins to gradually awaken now. So I think it's like from Asakti to Bhav. It's really, it's like, I think it's kind of fast, I guess. I don't know. This is like when you really begin to make the real progress. Now you're like about to leave the stage of sadhan and move into, right? There's sadhan bhakti, bhav bhakti, and prem bhakti. So now you're at the very last stages of sadhan bhakti, about to move into bhav. And so the next stage is vidya vadhu jivanam. This is a stage of asakti. The holy name prepares us for the wholesale surrender to Krishna that is found in conjugal love, madhur ras, where the devotees surrender themselves infinitely at the disposal of Krishna. Praise, may I just become a speck of dust at your lotus feet. Then the next stage is Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Now we come to the stage of Bhav, and this is the external symptoms of Bhav, right? Nayanam Kalarashudharaya, these are all external symptoms. Tears flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and oops, wrong thing. Where is it? Here. And this is Anandam Buddhivardhanam. So We find the transcendental ocean that is above all sorts of experience. When we come to the proper level while chanting the name of Krishna, we find the transcendental ocean that is above all sorts of experience. The name comes to assert himself over us. The name comes to assert himself over us according to the degree of our surrender. And when our surrender is complete, we feel a new type of ecstatic joy. We experience an infinite ocean of joy, which is not static, but always dynamic. There we find new life and a new type of blissfulness. It never becomes stale or static, but at every moment, it gives us a taste of the infinite ocean of ecstasy. And now, the last effect, complete self-purification. Okay, so Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī explains these two, Anandam Buddhivardhanam and Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam, together. These are both the stage above. One is the external symptoms, the other is the internal symptoms. Internal symptoms of perfection, which is Vipralamba Prem, Yugayitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Prabhushayitam. But yeah, these both go together because it's both bhav. So one is Anandam Buddhivardhanam, increasing of the ocean of Ananda, and Patipadam, at every step, Purnamrita Swadanam, you're tasting complete nectar. You're relishing complete nectar. So now, complete self-purification. The last effect is that our entire existence is purified. This kind of enjoyment does not pollute. It purifies. Enjoyment means exploitation. Mundane enjoyment creates a reaction and pollution attacks the enjoyer. But here, because Krishna is the aggressor, the result is purification. All enjoyment that comes from the center, from the autocratic desire of Krishna, purifies us completely. In this verse, the words sarvatma snapanam mean that all kinds of phases of the self, which may be conceived, are fully satisfied and purified at once by chanting the holy name of Krishna. And there's another meaning of sarvatma snapanam. If we praise Krishna congregationally, we will be purified according to our capacity, both the singer and the audience as well as anyone who comes in connection with the transcendental sounds will be purified. Snapana means purifying. That vibration purifies everyone and everything that comes in touch with it. And what I was understanding when we were, maybe this is a little bit of my speculation, but like when Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining in Bhajanahasi at the end, he goes through Sarvatma Snapanam, and he brings it back to Chaitodarpana Marjanam. And what I was getting from that, like the connection between Chaitodarpana Marjanam and Sarvatma Snapanam, is Chaitodarpana Marjanam is when you're beginning to clean the dust from the mirror of the heart. But then finally at Sarvatma Snapanam, all the dust was gone a while ago. And now you're completely drenching yourself, your soul, and it completely washes off any connection with this material world, your material body, because pain can't be contained within this physical body. You can only reach the stage of bhav in this body. But then at the stage of prem, that's when you've taken birth in Goloko Vrajat Vastu Siddhi, when you've actually taken birth in Krishna's pastimes within Bhoma Vrindavan, within Vrindavan in this world. And you've taken birth from the womb of a gopi. And that's when the stage of prem begins. Right? Like Madhurya Kadambini goes all the way up till you reach the stage of prem, and then the book ends because prem can't be contained within this body. And so it's like right before you achieve prem, like right at that point, then the book ends. And so Saratma Snapanam, you're completely washing away everything, your subtle body, your physical body, and now you've attained Vastu Siddhi. So it's like complete purification of yourself, any connection to the material world. So Mahaprabhu says, go on with Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name of Krishna. Of course, Sankirtan must be genuine. So association with saints is necessary. Remember in what is this Ambarish Prabhu in his offering to Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Gosvāmī, he's mentioning this point that Śrīla Bhakti Mahārāja would say was that service to the Vaishnavas is the anupan, right? It's the thing that you take for the medicine to work. Like in Ayurvedic medicine, there's anupan, and then there's the aushadhi. And so if you just take the medicine without the anupan, then the medicine won't have the effect. And so sadhu sangha, serving the Vaishnavas, this is the prerequisite for nam to do its thing. For the and we hear in Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song, what is it? Shakale saman korite shakati dehonata jata jata tabe to gaivo harinam suke aparad habihata. When will Harinam have its effect on me? When I chant Harinam, I'll feel bliss. He says, aparad habihata. How does that happen though? It happens when sakale saman korite shakati. When he's praying, please give me the power to honor all Vaishnavas jata jata, according to their position. So like coming to the stage of a madhyam platform where you deal appropriately with the Vaishnavas in different levels, and then you're engaged, that's sadhu sangha, when you are appropriately behaving with Vaishnavas, serving those. We know we've heard all, the different levels of Vaishnavas and how we deal with all of them. So at that stage, then you're engaging in sadhu sangha, when you're following them, serving the advanced Vaishnavas and having friendship with Vaishnavas on the same level as you, having affection and feeling compassion for those who like that. And so it's at that stage then Harinama starts to have its effect on you, and then Harinama will be blissful. Then when you chant, it won't be boring anymore. You'll just be tasting Harinama, and then all offenses will go away. Offenses are what blocks Harinam from doing its thing, from having any effect on us. That's why the more aparad we have, the more we're blocked from making any progress in our spiritual life, and Harinam is blocked from touching us. Aparad blocks Harinam from touching us. And so, of course, Sankirtan must be genuine. So association with saints is necessary. It is not an empirical attempt. It's not by my own effort, by my own brain power. Oh, I understand how to do this. Now I'm going to do it. It's not like that. We are attempting to have a connection with the higher, unconditioned realm, which condescends to help us here. We must have that connection with higher reality, for that is all important. The holy name of Krishna is not mere physical sound. It is not lip deep only, but it has a greater and higher aspect. Namakshar bahirai bate tabu nam kabu noy. It is all spiritual. We are in the marginal plane of existence. So some higher connection is necessary in order that the wave will descend from that higher realm and come to us and spread its influence outside as well. Wherever it goes, the Sankirtan of the holy name of Krishna will produce these sevenfold results. This is the purport of Mahaprabhu's first verse. The first effect is that the holy name cleanses the soul which is attacked by the dirt of desires from the mundane world. By the second effect, it gives mukti, liberation, perfect independence from material forces. The third effect brings real fortune. So remember, this up to Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam is the stage of Nishta. That's gives mukti, liberation from perfect independence from material forces. That's Nishta, when you have independence from material forces and you're fixed and determined and unwavering. And now the third effect, Ruchi, it brings real fortune, the opening of the soul's treasure. the innate resources of the soul are gradually awakened by the holy name of Krishna. Here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu includes the other forms of relationship with the personal absolute. Okay, so starts to the different forms of relationship, Dasa, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhura, I mean. And describing the next step, so now we're at Asakti, is the next step. He takes the mood of conjugal devotion, where one is absolutely disposed for Krishna's enjoyment. So right here, right, Śrīla Bhakti Thakur says that this fifth verse, or also Vidya Vadu Jivanam, start to get knowledge of your Siddha Swarup. And at this stage, the fifth verse, Ainanda Tanuja Karam, that's Vidya Vadu Jivanam. Then in your Siddha Dehe, Radha Padashray, you take shelter at the feet of Shri Radha. Right? That's number 5, just double checking. Yes, verse 5. Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, Vidya Vadu Jivanam, that's Asakti. And in this explanation here from Gurudev, he says, he prays to attain his own Swarup as an eternal servant of Krishna. Attachment for both bhajan and bhajaniya, the object of bhajan, Krishna, not just for the, so at Ruchi, you have so much taste in your sadhan, your performance of, or your bhajan. You have so much taste in chanting and hearing and all the activities of bhakti. It's like so juicy. But now at the stage of asakti, it's not just these activities of bhajan, but you're actually directly attached to the object of bhajan, to Krishna himself. So continuously chanting, he attains the inherent mercy of Mahaprabhu, and his heart begins to soften and melt. Then Shuddha Sattva arises, his taste for Nam thickens, and the 9 symptoms of Bhav begin to manifest at Asakti. These 9 symptoms of Bhav, Avyartha Kala. What is it? Avyartha Kalatvam. That verse, anyways. So in describing the next step, he takes the mood of conjugal devotion. That's what we were just talking about, where one is absolutely disposed for Krishna's enjoyment. Radha Padashray also. Unconditionally surrendering everything for his maximum pleasure. And now, I need millions of mouths. The next effect is the tasting of his ecstatic association. So remember in this kirtan of Śrīla Bhakti Thakur, now Choi Shlok, that's the stage of Bhav, Nayanam Galarashudharaya. Bhajite Anartha Durigela. Now all anarthas have gone. What is the last anartha to leave us is Pratishta, right? So that even that anartha is gone now. Pratishta is gone. All anarthas are driven far away. Then know that you have attained qualification for the Siddha Deha. So Asakti, you're starting to understand, this is what I'm understanding. This is just what I'm getting. I might be saying something wrong though. But Asakti, you're starting to realize your Siddha Deha, but you're not yet qualified for it. You're just starting to get a glimpse of it. And you take shelter of Shri Radha's lotus feet in your Siddha Deha. And then from that, you very quickly, you make really significant spiritual advancement, gradually awakens, Unnati Udoy at that stage. And then you come to the 6th verse, Nayanam Galarashudharaya, that's Bhav. All anarthas go away, Anartha Duregelo. And now you should know that you have attained adhikar for your Siddha Deha. You've attained qualification for the Siddha Deha, for your spiritual body. Okay, so the next effect is this, when you've attained qualification for your spiritual body, and now you're tasting his ecstatic association. The next effect is a tasting of his ecstatic association. In Vrindavan, the realm of Krishna, in Vrindavan, the realm of Krishna, one who can chant the name of Krishna properly will express himself with a particular sort of ego. Or maybe this is praying now. Maybe he's talking about praying here. Maybe he's talking about Sarvatma Snapanam. Yeah. Anyways, but he will express himself with his, let's see if he clarifies it later on. But yeah, he'll express himself with a peculiar sorts of ego. Now that person who can properly chant the name of Krishna in Vrindavan, the realm of Krishna, one who can chant his name. Okay, so this beautiful verse here. Tunde tandivini rating vitanute tundavali labdhaye karna kroda kadambini ghatayate karnarbudebhya spriham cheta prangana sangini vijayate sarvendriyanam pritim no jane janita kiyadbhiramritai krishneti varnadvai. When the holy name of Krishna appears on the lips of a devotee, it begins madly dancing. And then the name takes over and handles him as if the person to whom the lips belong loses all control over his lips. And the devotee says, with one mouth, how much can I gather the ecstasy of the holy name? I need millions of mouths. One mouth is not sufficient. I need millions of mouths to taste its unlimited sweetness. I'll never feel any satisfaction by chanting with only one mouth. When the sound of Krishna enters the ear, he feels that transcendental sound awakens in his heart. What are 2 ears, he thinks? This is the greatest injustice of the Creator. This is the greatest injustice of the Creator. I need millions of ears. Then, if I could hear the sweet name of Krishna, my heart might be a little satisfied. I want millions and millions of ears to hear the sweet name of Krishna. So this is the temperament of a devotee when his attention is drawn towards the holy name. And he faints. This is all beautifully described in Madhurya Kadambini also at the last chapter. Like the body can't handle it, the sweetness, and because Krishna's he reveals 5 different what is it called? Shoot, forgot what it was. Anyways, maybe we could look at that. It's so beautiful, that section of Madhurya Kadambini. But there's first he reveals his Saurabhya. So no. We'll look at it afterwards. Well, I don't know where those balloons came from. Okay, so then he faints. He loses himself, merging in an ocean of ecstasy and joy. And in great disappointment, he says, I failed to understand the quality and quantity of the substance of Krishna's name. I am perplexed. What sort of honey sweetness does this name contain? In this way, the chanter of the name wonders. Now, Krishna's mystic flute song. This has been taught to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who said, properly chant the holy name, the sound representation of absolute sweetness. That sweetness is also to be found in the flute song of the Lord. The sound of Krishna's flute has the great mystic power of capturing and pleasing everyone and everything. Upon hearing the sound of Krishna's flute, the Yamuna's current is paralyzed. The sweet sound of Krishna's flute attracts the trees, the birds, and the beasts. Everything is astounded by contacting the sweet vibration from Krishna's flute. And in Venugit gives a beautiful verse for each one of these, right? How it attracts the Yamuna, how Yamuna's current stops flowing, how the trees starts to exude honey, and the birds are sitting in meditation, watching like that, and the beasts, the deer, like it goes through each one of these effects of Krishna's flute on all the different types of living entities the gopis are singing. We're going to include that in the songbook. So everything is astounded by contacting the sweet vibration from Krishna's flute. Sound vibration can work miracles. Sound has the highest capturing potency. Sound can make or mar. It can do anything. It has such intrinsic capacity. It comes from the subtlemost plane, beyond the ether. That universal sound is absolute sweetness and goodness. How much power is there? How it can capture us. Like a blade of grass, we may be played by the current of that sweet sound in such a way that we cannot even trace out our own personality. We forget ourselves. There's many in Chaitanya Bhagavat, right? There's so many places where it says, what is an example? I'm trying to think. Na jane,
Anyways, it's like comes up over and over and over again in Chaitanya Bhagavat, where everybody's so much in bliss that they forget what to speak of others. They forget even themselves, who they are. They're just completely, so we may lose ourselves there. But we do not die. The soul is eternal. So you're not dying, but you completely lose yourself. You don't even know who you are anymore. Diving up and down, we are played by the current of the sweet sound. We are less qualified than a straw, a blade of grass. And the Krishna sound is so big and so sweet that it can play us in any way it likes. We cannot begin to conceive how much power is in the name, the sound which is identical with absolute goodness and sweetness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, don't neglect the sound which is one and the same with Krishna, which is Nam and Nami are non-different. So don't neglect that. Don't neglect the sounds. Don't neglect Krishna. Absolute sweetness and goodness. Everything is there within the holy name. And the holy name is representing itself to us in a very cheap way. Nothing is required to purchase it. No money, no physical energy. All these things are unnecessary. What is required? Sincerity. One who simply takes this divine sound sincerely will be so enriched that no one will be able to conceive of so much goodness and development, and anyone may have it very cheaply. But one must chant sincerely with his whole heart. Of course, wholehearted sincerity presupposes going to a proper agent, a saint, and getting the holy name from him. Sri Krishna Sankirtan is praised by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the inaugurator of the Sankirtan movement, who came as Radha Govinda combined. His advice is most valuable and necessary to tell us that with a sincere spirit, we must come to join this Sri Krishna Sankirtan, the most purifying transcendental sound which affects liberation, gives all fulfillment, and grants us such a positive attainment that we lose ourselves in the ocean of joy and inconceivable sweetness. This is Sriman Mahaprabhu's grace, and he proclaims, let Sri Krishna Sankirtan be expanded into this mortal world, that it may benefit everyone infinitely, for this is the highest and greatest benefit for the whole world. It is all comprehensive. It releases us from all sorts of troubles, establishing us in the highest position of attainment. And in this present degraded age of Kali, only Nam Sankirtan can help us. Of course, Nam Sankirtan is beneficial in all ages, but it is especially recommended in Kali Yuga, because in this age, all other attempts will be opposed by many forces. Nam Sankirtan cannot be opposed by the troubles and waves of this material world, so one must adopt it. If we exclusively give ourselves to this, we will gain the highest fulfillment of life. There is no necessity of any other campaign, for they are all defective and partial. But the most universal, captivating, and beneficial thing is Nam Sankirtan, which takes us to the highest goal. That alone can satisfy everyone. All souls that are now disconnected from Krishna may be helped in this way. No other movement is necessary. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells us, exclusively devote yourself to this. It is all-embracing and all-fulfilling, and you can achieve it with the least trouble and least energy. Let it flourish in this Kali Yuga. Let it flourish for the welfare of the whole universe, to reestablish all souls in their normal position. In the last verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, the conclusion of the book is given as follows. Nam Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukashamanas Tang Namami Harim Param. Pap means all anomalies, all undesirable things, sin. Material enjoyment and liberation are also included as anomalies, sinful activities. Why is liberation considered sinful? Because it is an abnormal condition. Our natural function is to serve Krishna, but we do not do that in salvation. Mere salvation does not include service to Krishna. So that is an abnormal position, and therefore it is also a sin. To ignore our natural duty and stand aloof cannot but be sinful. We'll end here because it's 8:01 now. So, Jai, Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki Jai. Such a beautiful explanation, huh? All right. So that's the end of our program. And for those of you who are following our like little Chaturmasya thing that we're doing, I'm going to go through the Pratham Yam Sadham, which is based on this first verse of Śikṣāṣṭaka. We're doing this for 2 weeks, and then we'll move on to the next verse. So, as you know, let me just see if anybody else joined. Haribo, Raseshwari Mataji. I see there are 8 devotees there. Pranams. As you can see, I see the comments of those people who write. So I see the names of people who write comments. Otherwise, you're just this number here. Okay, so yeah. What we're reading from now, you can find on my website, as I showed at the beginning. Just go to vineofdevotion.com, the last post I made there, and then you can scroll down, you see it says Pratham Yam Sadham. So in Bhajana Hasya, the first section, verse 10, Śrīla Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he quotes from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is quoting from Padma Puran, and it states that Namabhas destroys all sins and liberates one from material existence. And if anybody needs to go now, thank you so much for joining. Dandavat Pranams. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, so you can see the meter for it above here. Na 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 na. So tam nirvyajam bhajaguna nide pavana pavananam Śrīdhara janmatiratitarang uttama shlokamolim prodyan anta karana kuhare hantayan nama bhano abhasopi kshapayati maha pataka dhantarashim. O Gunanidhe, O treasure house of virtues, O you who are chanting Nam, worship him guilelessly, without duplicity. Tang, that means him, near Vyajam, without duplicity, guilelessly. Bhaja, worship. Worship him without duplicity. The purifier of all purifiers. Pavanam Pavananam. Pavananam means of purifiers, or of the redeemers. He is Pavanam. He is the topmost purifier. Worship him, Bhaja, worship him with Shraddha Rajan Matir, with a mind that is Rajan, which is fully dyed, or fully covered, fully imbued with Shraddha. Atitara means exceedingly, fully dyed with this Shraddha, fully colored by this Shraddha. Worship that Uttama Shloka Molin. Worship the crest jewel of those praised and exalted verse. So in this verse, Krishna is Pavanam Pavananam, and he is Uttama Shloka Molin. Okay, so Hanta is an exclamation. Ah, Hanta. Even the faintest glimmer. Abhasopi. Api means even, and abhas. Even the faintest glimmer of the sun-like name. Bhanu means the sun. Yan Nam, whose name, the son of whose name. So even the faintest glimmer of the son of whose name, when it rises, prodyan means rising, within the core, within the kuhare. Kuhare means within the cave or within the core of the antakarana is the heart, then kshapayati, it dispels mahapatak, dvanta rashim. It dispels the rashi means the vast dvanta darkness of mahapatak, of the most grievous sins. So this is the effect of even namabas that will destroy even the darkness of even the most grievous sins. And this example is being given because it's nishanta, the end of night. And now the sun of the holy name is just beginning to rise. The sun hasn't risen yet, but the sky is starting to become, sky is starting to brighten. And that's our ignorance being destroyed by Harinam, by even namabas. That's what this, so that's why it's nishanta for the sadhak. The end of night, the end of our ignorance. So then Śrīla Bhakti Thakur says, Parama Pavana Krishna Tahara Charan Nishkapat Shraddha Saha Koroho Bhajan. Krishna is Parama Pavan. He is supremely purifying. So Nishkapat Shraddha, so with pure-hearted faith, with non-duplicitous faith. Saha means with. Koroho Bhajan, engage in bhajan of Tahar Charan. Tahar Charan means his feet. Engage in bhajan of his feet, saha, with nishkapat shraddha, with pure-hearted faith. Jar naam surya bhas antare praveshi, dhvangsha kore mahapap andhakar rashi. So the surya bhas, that means the glow of the sun of his name, Jar naam, antare praveshi, having entered antare, within, dhvangsha kore, it destroys, it dispels mahapap andhakar rashi. So andhakar means darkness, rashi is the vast, deep darkness of mahapap, of grievous sin. So now, after Śrīla Bhakti Thakur explains this verse here, he goes on to explain the methodology of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka. E Śikṣāṣṭake kohe Krishna lila kram, ihate bhajana krame lilar udgam. This Śikṣāṣṭaka describes the progressive unfolding of Krishna's pastimes. In it, those pastimes arise through the systematic path of bhajan. Pratama shlok. So really, we are dependent on the Śikṣāṣṭaka. If we want to make advancement, if we want our anarthas to gradually dispel and rise to higher and higher levels of, Shraddha, Sadhu, Sangha, Bhajana, we want to rise to prem, then this Śikṣāṣṭaka is indispensable. This is the method that Mahaprabhu personally gave us. These are his shiksha, his teachings, Śikṣāṣṭaka, his teachings for us. If we follow those teachings, the shiksha and the Śikṣāṣṭaka, then we will, Krishna's pastimes will be unfolded to us if we follow the systematic path. So what is the path of the Śikṣāṣṭaka? What is the gradual step-by-step process of Śikṣāṣṭaka? Pratame, first, pratam shlok, in the first verse, bhajo kichudim. So worship that first verse. We should worship bhajo, we should worship Chaitya Darpana Marjanam, this first verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam for some days. Then, Vitya shlokete tabe hoto praveen. Tabe, then, you'll become practiced and experienced in the Dvitya shlok, in the second verse. Then, Chari shloke kramasha bhajana pakva koro, panchama shlokete nija siddha deha varo. Then, through the first four verses, Chari shloke, kramasha, gradually, bhajana pakva koro, bring your bhajan to maturity. This is all the way up, the first four verses, the fourth verse is the stage of ruchi, right? So, na dhanam na janam na sundarim. So up to that verse, mature your bhajan. Then, panchama shlokete nija siddha deha varo. Then at the stage of asakti, with the fifth verse, ainanda tanuja kinkaram, you take shelter of your perfected spiritual body, your siddha deha. Aishloke Siddhadehe Radha Padashray Aramba Koriya Krame Unnati Uday. Then at Asakti, with that fifth verse, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, by beginning to take shelter of Radha's feet and one's Siddhadeha, spiritual advancement gradually awakens. Charshlok Bhajite Anartha Dure Gelo. Now at this sixth verse, all anarthas are completely dispelled. Tave Jano Siddhadehe Adhikar Hoilo. Then know that you have attained qualification for the Siddhadeha. Now, when all anarthas have been driven away, at the sixth verse, which is the external symptoms of bhav, then Nadi Adhikar Nalabhiya Siddhadeha Bhave Viparjaya Buddhi Janme Shaktir Abhave. If without proper qualification, without reaching the stage of bhav, one meditates on the Siddhadeha, mistaken understanding arises. Viparjaya Buddhi is backwards understanding. It arises due to Shaktir Abhave, due to an abhav and a lack of spiritual power, of spiritual strength, Shakti. Therefore, Savadhane Kram Dharo, Jadi Siddhi Chao. Therefore, Jadi, if Siddhi Chao, if you desire Siddhi, then Savdhane, very carefully, Kram Dharo, follow the step-by-step path. Sadhur Charita Deki, so by observing the conduct of sadhus, that Sadhur Charita, Shuddha Buddhi Pao, you will gain purified intelligence. Purify your intelligence. Gain purified intelligence, not this Viparjaya Buddhi, this backwards, mistaken understanding, intelligence, but no, get Shuddha Buddhi, this pure intelligence, by observing Dekhiya. Dekhiya means by observing Sadhur Charita, the conduct of sadhus. This is indispensable. Otherwise, we will, if we just follow our own understanding, we will go the wrong way. We'll get mistaken understanding. But if we observe the character of sadhus, and we very carefully follow step by step this process of Śikṣāṣṭaka, then we'll attain perfection. And we'll get Shuddha Buddhi, pure intelligence. Siddha Deha Pe Krame Bhajana Korile Ashtakala Seva Sukh Anayase Mile. Having received your Siddha Deha Peye, having received, it's Peye, and practiced bhajan in proper sequence, and krame means in the proper sequence, bhajana korile, when you engage in bhajan in the proper sequence, having attained your Siddha Deha, then ashtakal seva sukh anayase mile, anayas. Then you'll attain the bliss, the sukh, the bliss of seva throughout ashtakal, throughout the 8 times of the day, 8 periods of the day, Krishna's 8-fold pastimes, anayas, without any effort, easily, naturally, spontaneously, automatically, anayas, mile. Let's look what the word anayas means. Easily, naturally, anayas. This is the easy path, the natural path. Ease, facility, little exertion or trouble. Carelessness. So effortless, easy. What's facile mean? Anyways, yeah. So therefore, Śikṣāṣṭaka Chinta Koro Smarana Kirtan Krame Ashtakala Seva Habe Uddipan. Therefore, Śikṣāṣṭaka Chinta, contemplate the Śikṣāṣṭaka, and Koro Smaran Kirtan, and engage in remembrance and Kirtan, Smaran and Kirtan. Krame, then gradually, your Ashtakal Seva, your service throughout the 8 periods of the day, will be Uddipan, will be awakened. Sakala anartha jabe pabe prem dhan. All anarthas will go away, and pabe, and you will attain prem dhan, the treasure of prem. Chatur varga falgu pray pabe adarshan. And the chatur varga, the 4 mundane goals of life, Falgu Prai will appear false, will appear. I just want to look up this word Falgu. Oops. Oops. Hey, how come Falgu is not coming up? That's so weird. Anyways, we know Falgu, fruit. Fruit is fal, and Falgu is fruitless. It'll appear fruitless or false, and it will habe adarshan. It will adarshan. There'll be no more darshan, no more vision of it. It will fade from view. It will disappear from sight altogether. So anarthas will go, and what will go in the place of the anarthas is prem dhan. And when you have the prem dhan, that is the pancham purushartha. It is the fifth and topmost objective of human life. Okay, so now we come to verse 1 of Śrī Śikṣāṣṭaka. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya kairava chandrika vitaranam vidyavadu jivanam Anandam buddhivardhanam pratipadam purnamrita svadanam Sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Shri Krishna Sankirtan cleanses the mirror of the heart. It extinguishes the blazing forest fire of material existence and diffuses the moonbeams of bhavs upon the white lotus of good fortune, causing it to bloom. Shri Krishna Sankirtan is the life and soul of Vidya Devi, the goddess of transcendental knowledge, who is his consort. Shri Krishna Sankirtan increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, causes the soul to relish complete nectar at every step. So remember, this is bhav, external symptoms first, and then internal symptoms of vipralamba bhav, feeling separation from Krishna. And it enables one to be fully bathed, purified, and soothed inside and out. Sarvatma snapanam. Let there be supreme victory for the congregational chanting of Shri Krishna's holy names. And then Śrīla Bhakti Thakur gives this beautiful kirtan. Pita varana kali pavana gora. So gora. Also, you know this word gora, when it's written like this, I've heard it explained that go stands for Govinda and Ra stands for Radha. And so Gora means Govinda Radha. So he who is Govinda and Radha combined, that is Gora. That's why you see it spelled like this, not Gaura, but it's Gora. So Pita Varana Kali Pavana Gora, the golden complexion, Pita Varana, Kali Pavana, the savior of the age of Kali, the purifier of Kali. Shri Gaur Hari, that Gora. He sings Gauwai. He sings as follows. Aichan means like so. Bhava Vibhora. Vibhora means overwhelmed with bhav. Cheta darpana parimarjana kari Krishna kirtana jai chitta bihari. So, it is the chitta darpan, the mirror of the heart, parimarjanakari. It is the cleanser, the purifier of the mirror of the heart. So, Krishna kirtana jai, all glories to that Krishna kirtan, which is chitta vihari, which delights the soul. Chitta vihari. Hela bhava dava nirvapana vritti. Krishna kirtana jai klesha nivritti. So it has the vritti, it has the tendency or the function of nirvapan, of extinguishing the dava, the forced fire of bhava, of material existence. Bhava is material existence. With a short a, then it means material existence, bhava. Even if it's hela, even if it's chanted indifferently. So Krishna right? That's like namabas even. Hela is one of the types of namabas, right? One of the 4 types of namabas when it's chanted indifferently. So even this namabas, chanting indifferently, it has the effect, the function of the vritti, of nirvapan, of extinguishing the bhavadhava, the forced fire of material existence. So Krishna Kirtana Jai, all glories to that Krishna Kirtan, klesha nivritti, which puts an end to all suffering. It eradicates all suffering, all klesh. There's pancha klesh, right? Anyways, we're not going to get into that now because move on. So so now we're at the stage of ruchi, right? Because this one was nishta right here. Now ruchi. Shreya kumuda vidu jyotsna prakasha Krishna kirtana jai bhakti vilasa. So all glories to Krishna. Sorry. So Shreya kumuda, the white lotus, a kumud lotus of Shreya, of good fortune. Vidu. Vidu is the moon, right? So it casts moonbeams. Vidu means moon, and Jyotsna means beams. And Prakash means manifest. So it manifests the moonbeams, the Vidhu Jyotsna, upon the Shreya Kumuda, upon the Kumuda, the white lotus of Shreya, or sometimes it's called white lily, right? Of good fortune, of Shreya. So Krishna Kirtana Jai, all glories to that Krishna Kirtan, which is Bhakti Vilas, which is a loving pastime of Bhakti. Bhakti Vilas. Vilas is one of those words that can't be translated. Vilas. But see, before it was klesha nivritti, it's negative, but now Bhakti Vilas, it is Bhakti Vilas. Now is the positive thing. This is ruchi now. And now Vishuddha Vidyavadu Jivana Rupa Krishna Kirtana Jai Siddha Sarupa. Now we're at the stage of asakti, when Nija Siddha Deha Vara, right? Śrīla Bhakti Thakur says. We now accept our Siddha Deha, we embrace our Siddha Deha. And so, Vishuddha Vidyavadu Jivana Rupa. It is the embodiment, it is the form of the jivan, of the life of the bride, of the vadhu, Vidya. So Nam Sankirtan's bride is Vidya. Sorry. Vidya is the bride or the wife of this Nam Sankirtan. So it's a consort. So it's the life of this consort, Vidya Devi. Not just any Vidya, Vishuddha Vidya. Not even Shuddha Vidya. Shuddha Vidya is, just pure knowledge, but Vishuddha is completely transcendental pure knowledge, that's knowledge of even beyond Vaikuntha, of Vrindavan. So it's Vishuddha Vidyavadu Jivana Rup. So Krishna Kirtana Jai, all glories to that Krishna Kirtan, which is Siddha Swarup, which is the embodiment of perfection. Or also, I wonder if it has to do with, because it's at the stage of asakti, when you start to realize your Siddha Swarup, and you get knowledge of that, right? So I wonder if that has some connection with that as well. Okay, so then Ananda Payo Nidhi Vardhana Kirti Krishna Kirtana Jai Plavana Murti. So now we're at the stage of Bhav, Anandam Buddhivardhanam. So this Krishna Kirtan, it expands, Vardhan, it expands, it is glorified, it is glorified, Kirti, it is glorified for expanding, Vardhan, for expanding the water ocean, right? Paya means water, Paya Nidhi means ocean, of Ananda, of bliss. So Krishna Kirtana Jai, all glories to that Krishna Kirtan, which is the embodiment of, it's the Murti, it's the embodiment of Plavan, of complete deluge of praying. So this is Nayanam Galara Shudharaya, the external symptoms of praying now. my eyes are profuse torrents of tears are, falling from my eyes, and my throat is choking up. When will that day be mine? So this is, external symptoms above. Now, this, like on this chart here, what was it? Internal symptom of bhav. The internal symptoms of perfection, which is vipralamba prem. This is also bhav, though. Oops. Okay, so pade pade piyusha swada pradata Krishna kirtana jai prema vidhata. So pade pade, at every step, piyusha swad. Piyush is nectar, swad. Swad means relishing, tasting. Pradata, it is the giver, it is the bestower of nectar, of relishment, of nectar, pade pade, at every step. So all glories to this Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Kirtana Jai, Prema Vidhata, which is the fountainhead of pure love of God. This is right here at this stage of, Yugayitam Nimeshena Chakshusha, this Vipralamba Prem. Now you move into Prem from here on. Then Bhakti, so it's Prema Vidhata. This is what causes the fountainhead of Prem. Then Bhakti Vinoda Swatma. No, Bhakti Vinoda Swatma Snapana Vidhana Krishna Kirtana Jai Prema Nidhana. So this Bhakti Vinod, he is, what's Vidhan here though? I'm not totally clear on this word. Because it's like, Vidhan is usually like the method, or what is Vidhan? Vidhan. Vidhan means the rule, injunctions, prescript, legislation, provision, dispensation, maybe it means that, arrangement, creation, prescription. Okay, so it is the prescription. I don't know, I have to see. I'm going to ask Chandra about this. It's the dispenser. It's the arrangement. I don't know. For it's snapan. It's Bhaktivinoda Thakur's own soul, his swatma, snapan. It bathes the soul of Bhakti Vinod. Krishna Kirtana Jai Prema Nidan. All glories to this Krishna Kirtan, which is Prem Nidan. It is the root cause of Prem. Okay. So now it's already almost 8:30, so let's just quickly do this. I'm not going to explain anything right now. This is Govinda Lila Mrita by Śrīla Krishna Verse Gosvāmī, the last verse in Bhajana Hasya of the first section. Ratrantre trasta vrinde rita bahu viravar bodhito ki rashari padyar hrityar ahridyar api sukha shayanar uttito to sakhibi drishto hrishto tadatvo ditarati lalito kakati ghi sashanko Radha Krishna Satrishnav api nija nija dham naptatalpo smarami. I'll just read the translation quickly. At the end of the night, awakened by the many sounds of birds sent by an anxious Vrinda, and also by the pleasant and unpleasant verses of the parrots and mynas, they have arisen from their blissful sleep. Observed by their companions, by the Sakis, they are delighted and lovely, owing to the love freshly arisen at that moment. To the rati, freshly risen at that moment. Startled by the cry of kakati, and although still thirsting for one another, they reach the beds in their own respective homes. I remember Radha and Krishna. So now we come to this song. Dekhiya arunoday vrinda devi vyasta hoy kunje nana rava korailo Shuka sari padya shuni uthe radha nilamani Saki gan deki hrishta hoilo. Okay, so I'm just letting you guys know, right before we started this program, I was 5 minutes late because I was like, oh my God, I forgot to put the song here. So I just put it into ChatGPT, and this is a ChatGPT translation, not my translation. So there might be mistakes in it. We'll see. I'll make my own translation later, but just, yeah, letting you know. So at the sight of the reddish dawn, so Dekhiya Arunodoya, yeah, Aruna means red, right? And it also means the rising sun, which is red, reddish sky. So at the sight of the reddish dawn, Vrinda Devi becomes anxious. Vyasta, Vrinda Devi Vyasta hoy, Kunje Nanarava Korailo. So she's anxious, and Korailo, she causes Nana Rava, the various Nana Rava sounds, Kunje, in the Kunj. So she causes various sounds to arise in the grove. She's getting all the birds to make their chirping sounds. Then Shukashari Padya Shuni. So Shunya, having heard the Padya, the verses of Shuk and Sari. So that's the parrots and the minas. Ute, Radha and Krishna, Radha Nilamani. So Radha and the blue sapphire Krishna, Ute, they arise on hearing the verses of Shuka and Sari. Sakigan Deki, so the Sakis, the groups of Sakis, Dekiya, having seen this, Rishtahoilo, they become happy. Kalo Chitta Sulalita, Kalo Chitta Sulalita, Kakatira Rave Bhita, Radha Krishna Satrishna Hoya. So at that time, they're Sulalita, they're very beautiful and charming. Due to that time, right? But then all of a sudden, Kakatir Rave Bhita, but then all of a sudden they become startled. They become afraid by the cry, the Rava, the sound of Kakati, the old female monkey, Kakati. It says, Jatila, Jatila. So then Radha Krishna Satrishna Hoya. So Radha and Krishna, they're Satrishna Hoya. They're filled with longing for each other, thirsting for each other. But despite this, they have to go. Nija Nija Griha Gela. They go to their own respective homes. Nija Nija Grihe Gela. They've gone. And Nibrite Shayana Koila. And they quietly lie down to rest. So Shayana Koila. They lie down Nibrite, secretly, quietly. Nobody notices them. Dunhe Bhaji Śrīla Smaria. So Dunhe, to those two, Bhaji, I worship. Śrīla Smaria, having remembered Śrīla, that pastime. So I worship those two, remembering this lila. E lila smara ar gao Krishna nam, Krishna lila prema dhan, pabe Krishna dhama. So remember this lila and chant Krishna's name. E lila smara ar gao Krishna nam, Krishna lila prem dhan, pabe Krishna dham. You will attain Krishna dham. You will attain Krishna Lila, Krishna's pastimes, and Prem Dhan. You'll attain the wealth of Prem. All right, so that is our program for today. Thank you so much for joining. Oh, wait, let's just do a quick Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai, Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Shri Param Gurudev ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki Jai, Swapasha Ji Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopigan ki Jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai, Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai, Jai Shri Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai, his bhajan aur hasya ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Par ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Govinda Lilamrita ki jai, Jai Shri Chaitanya Śikṣāṣṭaka ki jai, Jai Śrīla Bhakti Rakṣaka Śrīdhara Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, his beautiful book, Golden Volcano of Divine Love ki jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshadashachan Krishna Bhakti Padadevi Satyavataya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyashta Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Dandavat Pranams, Ndri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Champak Mataji, Anadi Krishna Prabhu, and let's see who is on YouTube and Facebook. Ganga Mataji, Krishna Mai Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Rohini Nandan Prabhu, and I'm guessing Indira Mataji, and I don't know who else is there. But Dandavat Pranams everybody, and also pranams to all devotees watching in the future. Shachi Devi, Jaidev Prabhu, Revati Devi, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you all tomorrow to begin. Finally, after 51 days of reading Shikṣāṣṭakam, we're finally making it to verse number 2. But we're going to go a lot faster now because, yeah, as I mentioned in that post, I want to finish by the end of Chaturmasya. So that means we have less than 4 months to finish everything. All right. If we continued at this pace that we're going at the first verse, we'd finish probably like in a year from now. All right, less than a year from now. Almost a year from now, maybe. Yeah, actually, probably a year from now. So yeah, I'm not going to go that slow. All right, Haribol. Is there anything anybody wants to mention before we end our program? Okay, see you all tomorrow. Haribol.